Have you ever noticed this? Your grandparents talk about cod liver oil, herbal teas, castor oil, and home remedies. But when you walk into a modern clinic, you walk out with a prescription written in a language you can barely pronounce. Somewhere along the way, medicine moved from the kitchen to the laboratory. Today, we're going to talk about why natural medicine was slowly pushed to the side, how modern drugs took center stage, and what that really means for you as someone trying to stay healthy in a very noisy world. This is not a big pharma is evil rant. It's also not a just drink herbs and ignore your doctor video. It's a real, honest look at how medicine used to rely heavily on plants, minerals and animal extracts, why synthetic drugs became dominant 20 old-school remedies doctors actually used, and how you can think clearly about natural options without falling for hype or fear. By the end of this video, you'll understand the bigger story behind natural medicine versus modern pharmacology, so you can make calmer, more informed decisions about your own health. This is general education, not personal medical advice. Please always talk to your healthcare provider before changing medications, doses, or adding supplements. All right, let's go back in time for a moment. Imagine it's the 1920s. There's no smartphone, no MRI machine, no long list of drugs advertised on TV. Doctors are using a giant reference book, thousands of pages long, that lists the remedies they can prescribe. A lot of those remedies aren't brand name pills. They're oils, extracts, minerals, and parts of animals and plants. Back then, a large share of medical remedies came from nature, a smaller portion were early synthetic drugs made in the lab. Over just a few decades, that balance flipped. Natural remedies went from being the majority to being half to becoming a minority as synthetic pharmaceuticals took over. So what happened? Medicine didn't suddenly forget herbs. It shifted priorities. Science became more focused on isolating single active chemicals, making their effects more predictable, standardizing doses, testing them in controlled ways, and yes, creating products that could be patented and sold. Some of this shift saved lives. Insulin, antibiotics, anesthesia, blood pressure medications, vaccines. These are huge wins for humanity. But as modern drugs rose, a lot of old natural remedies were pushed into a corner and labeled as folklore, unscientific, or alternative. Today, you'll see people on both extremes. Only take what your doctor prescribes. Everything natural is superstition. Or only use herbs. Modern medicine is poison. The truth is more complicated and more interesting. Let's talk about how we went from roots and oils to rows of synthetic pills, and what we lost and gained along the way. To understand why natural medicine was pushed aside, we need to understand the logic of modern medicine. A few big forces drove the shift. 1. The rise of scientific testing in the early 1900s. Medicine started demanding stronger proof. Does this substance really work? In how many people? At what dose? What are the side effects? It became easier to test single, isolated molecules than complex mixtures like whole herbs or animal extracts. So research naturally gravitated toward pure compounds. 2. Standardization and safety. If you give 10 people a handful of leaves, each dose is slightly different. If you give 10 people a tablet with 10 milligrams of a specific molecule, the dose is consistent. That helps. Predict results, monitor side effects, share information between doctors, so synthetic drugs fit very well into this new system of standards, protocols, and guidelines. Economics and patents. You can't patent ginger or olive oil. You can patent a new molecule made from them or something that mimics them. That creates a financial incentive to isolate, modify, or totally reinvent active compounds so they can be owned, marketed, and sold at scale. Money doesn't explain everything, but it absolutely shapes which therapies get studied, promoted, and reimbursed. Changing disease patterns, infectious diseases, injuries, and acute crises used to dominate. Today, we're dealing with chronic conditions: diabetes, heart disease, depression, autoimmune disorders, long-term pain. Quickly acting drugs that target specific pathways became very attractive in this new world. So natural medicine didn't just disappear by accident. It was crowded out by a system that rewards isolated molecules fast, measurable effects, patentable products. The question we have to ask today is, does that system always give us the wisest long-term choices? Or did we lose some valuable tools when we pushed old remedies aside? To answer that, we need to compare natural remedies and synthetic drugs more clearly. Natural remedies versus drugs. What's the real difference? Let's clear up a big misunderstanding. Natural does not automatically mean safe or gentle. Drug does not automatically mean bad or poison. Both can help. Both can harm. The difference is mostly in how they work and how they're regulated. A. Precision versus complexity. Drugs are often like a sniper. Target one specific enzyme, receptor, or pathway very powerful, very direct. Natural remedies are more like a choir. Many different compounds working together, each one weaker on its own. The effect is often broader and more subtle. This is why some herbs and oils can support multiple systems at once, but also why it can be harder to predict their exact effect person to person. B. Evidence and regulation. Most prescription drugs are required to go through controlled trials, safety monitoring, and strict manufacturing standards. Supplements and natural products are usually regulated more like foods. The quality can be excellent or very poor, depending on the company. That means some natural remedies are well studied and useful, others are hyped with very thin evidence labels, can sometimes be misleading if you don't buy from reputable sources. C. Side effects. Because drugs are stronger and more targeted, side effects can be more obvious, more serious, and easier to track in studies. Natural products can also have side effects. Liver stress interactions with medications, allergic reactions, problems in pregnancy, but the pattern is different. You might not feel something immediately, yet it could still be affecting your body. D. The missing piece. Lifestyle. Here's the biggest issue in modern healthcare. For many people, the first line of treatment is a prescription, not food, sleep, stress management, movement, environment. Lifestyle changes are slower, less dramatic, and not something you can sell in a bottle. But they often do the heavy lifting for long-term health. So when we talk about natural medicine, we shouldn't only think about herbs. We should also think about healthy habits, which are the most natural medicine of all. With that in mind, let's look at some of the remedies doctors used in the early 1900s, not as instructions for you to self-treat, but as a way to understand how different the medical toolbox used to be. 20 old remedies doctors once used and what they teach us. Again, this is history and education, not personal medical advice. Don't start or stop any remedy based on a YouTube video. Always talk to your healthcare provider. I'm going to group these old remedies into themes so you can see the patterns. 1. Oils and fats. AS medicine. A. Cod liver oil. Back then, cod liver oil was a go-to remedy. Doctors used it for people with infections like tuberculosis, joint pain, and stiffness, general weakness. Especially in children today, we know cod liver oil is rich in omega-3 fats, vitamin A, vitamin D. These nutrients are involved in immune function, inflammation, and bone health. That helps explain why people noticed benefits. The lesson: sometimes our grandparents were using a supplement long before supplements had fancy labels. But doses and purity matter, and too much vitamin A, for example, can be toxic, another reason to involve a professional. V. Olive oil. Olive oil wasn't just used in salads. Doctors used it as a gentle laxative and even tried it for gallbladder discomfort. When you eat fat, your body releases bile, which helps you digest fats and can affect how the gallbladder behaves. Today, extra virgin olive oil is more famous for heart and metabolic health, but that old use as a mild laxative still shows up in some traditional practices. C. Castor oil. If you grew up hearing about castor oil, you probably know it as the thing grandma gave you when you were constipated. Historically, it was used as a strong laxative, sometimes on the skin for irritation. Castor oil stimulates the movement of the intestines. It works, but it can also be very intense. Using it frequently or in large doses is not recommended without medical supervision. The lesson: natural does not mean gentle. Even oils can be powerful drugs in the wrong hands. D. Pine needle oil. Doctors once used vapors from pine needle oil, a few drops in hot water, for people with congested lungs or chronic bronchitis. People would inhale the steam it was thought to help loosen mucus and make breathing feel easier today. Steam inhalation and certain essential oils are still used by some people for comfort, but we're more cautious about strong oils near the face, especially for children or people with asthma. Sandalwood oil and sassafras sandalwood oil and the root of sassafras were once used for infections, especially of the urinary tract or mouth. They were believed to have antibacterial properties. Dentists used antiseptic solutions made from plant materials. Some of these practices faded as modern antibiotics arrived. Modern medicine now relies on standard antibiotics for serious infections because they're better studied and more predictable. But the idea of plants with antibacterial effects has never fully disappeared. 2. Acids, salts, and minerals. Magnesium sulfate. Epsom salts are still around today, mainly in baths. Historically, doctors used magnesium sulfate for relaxation and sleep, muscle tension, constipation as a strong laxative when taken orally. Even now, magnesium is known to support nerve and muscle function, influence mood and relaxation, but again, dose matters. A warm bath with a scoop of Epsom salts is very different from large oral doses that aggressively flush the bowels. Calcium chloride. Doctors decades ago used calcium salts for problems they believed were related to the body being too alkaline or overly reactive, like itching, hives, some allergy-like symptoms. Calcium plays a role in muscle contraction and nerve signals. In hospitals today, certain calcium products are still used in very specific emergencies, but this old acidify the body idea doesn't match how we think about pH balance now. The lesson: our understanding of how the body works has evolved. Some observations were right, the explanations were sometimes off. Glauber's salt, sodium sulfate. This was another old-fashioned laxative used to clear toxins by flushing the bowels. Could it make someone feel lighter and emptier? Sure. Did it truly remove all toxins from the body? That's a very big claim. Your liver and kidneys do most of your detox work quietly, every single day. No salt or herb can replace basic organ function, sleep, hydration, and a healthy diet. 1. Lithium. This is one of the most fascinating stories. Lithium is a mineral for decades. Doctors have used certain lithium salts in carefully monitored doses to treat mood disorders, such as bipolar disorder at one point. Even drinks containing small amounts of lithium were marketed as mood-lifting today. Lithium as a drug is a serious prescription. It requires blood tests. It has a narrow safe range. It can be very effective, but also potentially toxic. If misused, you might see low-dose lithium supplements sold online, but that doesn't mean they're safe for everyone. This is a perfect example of a natural element, strong biological effect, need for professional supervision. Iodine, Lugol solution. Iodine has been, and still is, used to disinfect skin before surgery, support thyroid function in areas with iodine deficiency in specific situations, protect the thyroid from taking up radioactive iodine. Historically, iodine solutions were also tried for various glandular problems. Today, we know iodine is essential. Both deficiency and excess can harm the thyroid. Random high-dose iodine experiments without lab testing and medical supervision are risky. Colloidal silver. Historically, silver was used on wounds and surfaces to reduce infection before antibiotics existed. Over time, modern antibiotics replaced silver for internal infections. Some silver-containing dressings are still used on certain wounds under medical care. Colloidal silver supplements became popular in some alternative circles. The concern today: drinking colloidal silver can permanently discolor the skin, a condition called argyria, and carry other risks. There is not strong modern evidence to support it as a safe internal cure-all. So while silver has a real history in medicine, that doesn't mean home silver solutions are safe or smart to take without guidance. 3. Digestion-focused remedies. Betaine hydrochloride. Doctors once used betaine hydrochloride to support stomach acid in people with indigestion. The idea: some people don't have enough stomach acid. Without enough acid, protein digestion and nutrient absorption can suffer. A small amount of acid might help, in theory, in certain cases today. Some people still use betaine HCl, but It can be dangerous if someone actually has too much acid, an ulcer, or is taking certain medications. It's not something to experiment with blindly. Pepsin enzyme pepsin is one of the body's main protein-digesting enzymes in the stomach. Historically, pepsin supplements were used for indigestion, weak digestion. In older adults today, digestive enzyme blends are common. They can help some people, but the underlying cause of digestive problems still matters. Is it diet? Stress? Infection? Acid imbalance? Something structural? Enzymes are a tool, not a magic solution. Activated charcoal. Doctors used activated charcoal as an emergency treatment for certain poisons and accidental overdoses, and also for gas and bloating. It works by binding substances in the gut, preventing some of them from being absorbed even today. In emergency rooms, activated charcoal is used in specific poisoning cases under medical supervision. Taking charcoal casually with every meal can interfere with nutrient and medication absorption, so it's not something to use routinely without guidance. 4. Nutrients, vitamins, and extracts. Liver extract. Before we had modern B12 injections and iron formulations, doctors used liver extracts for anemia. Liver is rich in iron, especially heme iron, vitamin B12, other nutrients needed to build healthy red blood cells. Many people today still eat liver as a nutrient-dense food, but when it comes to treating anemia, you always need to identify why you're anemic and treat the cause, not just swallow iron. P. Vitamin D. Vitamin D has had a fascinating history. It was used to treat rickets in children, a bone disorder from deficiency at times. Very high doses were used under medical supervision for certain conditions over the years. Recommended doses have moved up and down as we learn more about benefits and risks. Today we know vitamin D plays roles in bone health, immunity, mood, and more. Both low and excessively high levels can cause problems. The only safe way to personalize dosing is to work with your doctor and monitor levels. More is not always better. Balance is the goal. Q. Niacin, vitamin B3. Niacin has been used for supporting healthy cholesterol patterns, improving certain blood lipid levels, influencing energy metabolism. At higher doses, it can cause flushing, itching, and other side effects. Some forms of niacin are used in prescription-strength doses for specific patients, but this is something that should be coordinated with a healthcare professional, not self-prescribed based on internet tips. 5. Special cases are methylene blue. This one sounds like science fiction. Methylene blue is a synthetic dye, one of the earliest chemical compounds used in medicine historically. It was used for certain infections as a stain in microscopy and later on specific blood disorders. Researchers have also explored its impact on cellular energy, especially in mitochondria. But it's a drug, not a casual supplement. It can interact with medications. It is absolutely not something to start using just because you saw a video about it. What this history really tells us. Looking at these old remedies, you can see a pattern. Natural substances can be powerful. Many of them became the starting point for modern drugs. Science evolves. Some old practices were brilliant. Others were guesses that didn't hold up. Neither side is perfect. Modern drugs save lives, but can cause serious side effects and can be overused. Natural remedies can support health, but can be underregulated, misused, or oversold. The real tragedy isn't that synthetic drugs exist. The tragedy is when lifestyle and prevention are ignored, and when you're reduced to a list of prescriptions instead of a whole person with sleep patterns, food habits, stress levels, relationships, movement, environment. So how do you move forward wisely? A few simple principles. Use modern medicine for what it does best: emergencies, infections, serious conditions that require precise, targeted therapy. Use natural approaches wisely: real food, movement, stress management, sleep, and, with professional guidance, carefully chosen supplements when appropriate. Avoid extremes. Only pills can help me, or I'll cure everything with herbs from a random website. You deserve better than fear and hype on either side. You deserve information that respects your intelligence and your right to choose. If you'd like to go deeper into practical natural strategies that fit alongside your doctor's care, I've got another video where we talk about simple, evidence-informed habits and nutrients you can discuss with your healthcare provider. Watch that next so you can keep building your own balanced, informed approach to health.